Hey YouTube, Maga Supreme here coming at you guys with another reading. So for this reading, as you guys know, it's Sacred Sunday. I kind of slipped up and didn't post one, I think, last Sunday, but I'm back on track with it now. I was just like so consumed all last week with just gathering my energy, restoring myself, and like bringing everything back to me that I kind of forgot to do a Sacred Sunday message. Um, because as you know, if I do anything on this channel, my Sacred Sunday readings are the ones that's the closest to my heart. Um, so for the Sacred Sunday message, I didn't get anything in particular that wanted to come out, but I was getting an inkling that I should talk a little bit more about myself. Um, so one of the things that I did and that I heard was before I even started this reading, I was going to pull a rune for myself for good luck. And even before I even like pulled the cards, like there was one particular rune that just was coming to my head because, I'm gonna share a secret with you guys. Like before I do any of like my private readings and stuff like that, or before like when I used to get like people like paying for personal reads, I would always like sit down, set my space like I did just before I started this, meditate, and I will pull a rune for good luck. And the rune that I've always pulled was Kawanas. And guess what rune I pulled again? I'm like, every time that I pull for a reading or pull for myself, like every time I get ready to start a reading, I always pull the Kawanas rune. And the Kawanas rune is like the passing of the torch. It's like the enlightenment. This is, every time I see this rune, whenever I'm getting ready to start a reading, this is like Father, my spirit guides, my ancestors, like all of them coming together and like letting them know that, hey, I have the power. Like the torch is being passed to me. I can do this. And it's just funny that I got this again because you see this guy's like looking up and like the torch is like being lit. This is like always, this is just me. Like every time I sit down and I'm praying and I'm like looking up, like this is me looking up and getting the fire to go on. It's just like a really cool coincidence that just happens. Like, and I promise you, it happens without fail. Like without fail, it happens every single time. Like, and I shit you not. You guys know I don't do the whole lying, bigging myself up thing on here. Like, I pull that rune every single time I sit down, I meditate, and I ask for support and encouragement for my reading. Because I was a little nervous for the Sacred Sunday reading because I didn't have a message. I didn't know what was being asked of me or what to do. But then I heard, relax. Only thing I heard was like, relax. And then they said, pull a rune for good luck. And I was like, if I pull the Karanas rune, I'm going to freak. And guess what? And I pulled the rune again. So now I know it's not no coincidence. Like this is like really spirit, Father, all my spirit guides and ancestors really aligning with me and letting them know that the thing that I do is sacred and that I'm meant to do this. So I was just like really needing that little bump, that little bit of encouragement for this reading because, I know like I'm really good at what I do, but sometimes it's just like good to just get that extra support and that extra encouragement from spirit. And they do not let me down. They do not let me down. Um, my throat, every time I get ready to start channeling, and I keep telling you guys this every time I do it, like I know you guys are probably sick of me saying it now, but every time I get ready to channel and I start channeling, like my throat just like gets so dry. It's mostly because I quit smoking. I quit smoking weed, and I've been drinking like a lot of water consistently. So like my throat is like kind of like healing now, from years of damage, I guess. And so now that I'm starting to like do better and like really like wear off the effects of like my years of like marijuana smoking. It just feels like my throat is like more scratchy than ever, but just because it's healing, or at least that's just what came to me. So I know for a fact that I needed to start this reading off with a rune. I put the Kawanaz rune to the side because that's a personal rune for me. That's my encouragement. That's something for me to look at and like be like inspirited. Like, yeah, I know I can do this. Like the torch has been passed. I have the tools. I can do this. But for this message, I'm going to pull some runes for you guys. So, I'm hearing that I should pull two. I'll keep going until it feels right, Father. Okay. Huh. All right. I know I said I was going to pull two, but these five, the five that came out, well, six that came out, makes for a pretty comprehensive message in my eyes. So bear with me. If you guys don't know, I do read runes. That's something that Spirit himself taught me. Um, I guess I could share a little bit of my experiences when I was first starting out, like really becoming spiritual and stuff like that. You know, I believe in the Most High God, but I also believe in his emanations, which are the other gods. Like they are all spanning from the one source, like the one true God. They're all different counterparts of him and himself. And when I was first starting out, one of his like counterparts, and the one that you guys like probably know as Odin, the All Father, he came down and like he was guiding me through the process of learning runes. So like I am like self-taught in runes by spirit. So I don't know how like exact my definitions are. Like I definitely like double check like my inklings and my impressions of the runes, and I turn out to be like pretty correct for the most part. But I am like taught by spirit. So what I have here, these three are meant to go together. I have the rune of Manas, of Tirwas, and Yada. So with Manas, Tirwas, and Yada, with these three runes together, the message to me is like very clear. And this is about like a sacred path or like a path of like enlightenment and learning. Because that's the first thing I heard. The moment I pulled the Manas rune, I heard enlightenment. I heard that this is the era and the age of enlightenment. One of the biggest things that I'm getting here right now is that with the Manas room coming out, whether you guys know it or not, there's been like a really big shift in like the energy of like the world. There's more and more people waking up to the power of spirit. There's more and more tarot readers, more and more diviners, more and more people like really getting involved and like really feeling the spirit. And I keep hearing like the second coming. I'm also being drawn to tell you guys one of the things that I got one of these days when I got finished when I just finished working out and I was walking home and I was in the middle of like contemplation doing a walking meditation. The spirit, the energy that reached out to me in particular was the name Chakravartin. Um, I don't know how well versed you guys are in like a whole bunch of different mythologies, but the Chakravartin, I thought it was a god, but it's actually just a title. The Chakravartin is given to is the title that's given to people who are meant to be rulers, conquerors, and like destined to like rule and lead the world. It is said that when a Chakravartin appears, there's going to be another Buddha, and that and I wrote in my notes that this corresponds with like the second coming, like, and it all fits with like what's been happening in this age. There's going to be like someone or some people that's really meant to like rise up and become really extremely enlightened. And I'm hearing like become like a paragon of like the people, like really exemplify the qualities that the best qualities of man. And and I got all this just from the Manas room, by the way. Like, I'm getting all of that just from the Manas room. Like, there's a great enlightenment that's happening right now in the world. And I keep feeling like this isn't just going to be a personal message. This is just going to be like a message, like like a wide spanning message. Like, if you hear this, like, this is just information for you to know. Um, with the Manas room, there's been a great enlightenment, and a great enlightenment is currently taking place. I remember that there was, like, in history, an area called the Enlightenment period, where like arts and crafts and like all these kind of different things started taking place. And I feel like right here, right now, we're in the second enlightenment and also part of the second coming. Because I remember, because when I got that message about the chocolate of Arcton, they threw my eyes to the part of the Bible where after Jesus died, after he passed, and the veil for, I think it was like the Holy Holies, or like the veil from like the great altars, like were burnt and like separated. People all through the street, they started speaking in tongues. People started being able to divine. People started like hearing tongues and starting to understand what tongues meant. That was like spirit, Father himself, like rushing into the world because the veil has been lifted and we were granted greater access to the spirit. And I feel like that's what's happening again in this time period now. Like, there's people who are becoming like extremely enlightened, like becoming more and more sensitive to the spirit because it's that time again with the shift of this brand new age. Why am I so stuffy? This always happens whenever I sit down to channel. I'll be perfectly fine, but once I start channeling, my whole body just starts acting weird. But yeah, there's the brand new age and like the second coming. And for those of you who don't know what that means, like, prepare to see a lot more weird stuff happening. Like, really be prepared to start seeing like this world go and shift into a brand new direction and seeing things that we never even seen before that's happening. The next moon that I have is the Tirwas moon. And the Tirwas moon is about like protection. It's about like your spiritual protection, like being protected in the spirit, and also the card of the spiritual warrior. This is funny because last night, like just as I woke up this morning, I had a dream. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know how well versed you guys are in like different religions or like different beliefs and stuff like that. But I'm more so of like a, I'm not a Christian, by the way. Like, I'm not a Christian. I guess I'll be more so called like a Jainist nowadays. Like, I believe in like, of course I believe in the Most High God. There's only like one true the divine source, but I believe in his emanation, and each one of his emanations have power. But you're only supposed to give reverence to the original. But there was another spirit or deity, I think it's a deity, that came out and reached to me, and her name was Skada. Skada is from Irish mythology. I've heard her name before. Like, I never really looked too much into her. I just thought she was like some kind of witch. But come to find out, she's actually a warrior and a shadow warrior, and she trained the hero Cuchulainn. If I'm just talking about a lot of mythology, but she trained the warrior Cuchulainn, and she appeared to me in my dreams. Her and this is going to be funny, but her name is Wonder Woman, but they were just calling her Diana, which is also another name for the moon. I think it's Diana. I could just be mistaken that for League of Legends because one of the characters associated with the moon is named Diana. But I think Diana is another name for a moon goddess. But it was Diana and Scatha that was like in that dream. And they were just like talking to me about the importance of shadow work. And come to find out, like, Scatha is the shadow warrior or the shadowy one. And she trains like warriors and trains heroes, or just trained one great hero. No, she trains all heroes. I gotta make sure I get my story and get her story right. She trains all heroes, and she was appearing to me in a dream, and we was talking about the process of shadow work. And what's funny is what came to me is like I heard what kind of witch doesn't get involved in shadow work. Like, what kind of witch are you if you don't take the time to meditate and to like do your shadow work? And this also fits into the Manaz room. Like, what kind of person? Can you claim to be a spiritualist, to be this kind of person, to be a reader, a diviner, and things like that, if you don't take the time out to meditate and to like really sort your own baggage and like really get your own stuff together? You can't come out here and tell people this and that or want this and that, and you don't take the time out to check yourself or get yourself together. And that was just like something that came to me in my dream. And she wasn't like really saying that to condemn me or anything like that. It was just like something funny. It was a joke between the both of us because we laughed. Because in the dream there was another person with me, and this person was just like freaking out, just being in the dark and in the shadows. Like, they was freaking out. But I had to calm that person. Like, I sat down in the darkness and I started to meditate. And as I meditated in the darkness, light enveloped me, and I was lighting up the darkness because I do my shadow work. Shadow work is nothing new to me. I love it, and I love always taking the chance out to confront myself and to grow and to become more enlightened. It was a big signification for me. And what I'm hearing here with the Tirawaz and the Manas room together, not only is this like also more so of a confirmation for me, but this is also more so direction and guidance for the message that I need to give out today. You guys, if you do this, you need to make sure that you not do this, but there's protection all around you. Like, for those of you who take the time out to meditate and connect, I'm hearing that you shouldn't have a fear of the spiritual world or have a fear of like the depths of you, because in the depths of you is where you find your brightest light. Because in my dream there was a big giant like fish monster, like, and I was in an underwater base. It's a lot to this dream. It was like an underwater base, and I was just like looking out the windows of the base, and I saw a huge like fish. It looked like an angler fish, but it was like giant, and it was just like swimming in circles around the base. And I looked at it, and like Scatha said to me, and Wonder Woman was there, Diana. They said to me like, "Oh, you see that fish out there? That was a king too, but it was a king that succumbed to the darkness inside of himself." And that's when we was getting on the importance of shadow work, and it was bringing me back to the chakra of Arthan, the person who exemplifies all the greatest qualities of man. But in order for that to happen, you need to make sure that you take the time out to really connect to yourself, to sort through your baggage, and to really make sure that you live your life with integrity. Because Tirwas, his room showing up, is about integrity, it's about justice, and it's also about spiritual protection. Um, you can't call yourself enlightened. You can't call yourself a spiritualist. You can't call yourself a tarot reader if you're out here lying and not like really living your life day by day in a way that is pleasing and that's an example to other people. A lot of people like to get involved in this stuff and like think it's all fun and games, but I'm here to tell you that this spiritual stuff is like real life serious. Like, this is the real life. Like, being involved in spirit and doing this stuff, and there's strict standards that you're being held to. And if you can't follow those standards, no matter how much success you may have in the 3D realm, you're still going to be found wanting in the spirit, because you're not living your life with integrity. You're not taking the time out to sort through your stuff. You're not taking the time out to really get connected to like the deepest parts of you, because in the deepest parts of you is where you'll find the source. Is where you'll find source, where you'll find the one true God inside the deepest parts of you. Because when Jesus died and the veil was like burned and lifted, Father moved from out of like altars, out of the churches, out from behind his veil and into each and every one of us. That's why like you don't see like big moves from him anymore, because now he's not like away from us, he is a part of us now. And that's why you keep getting these people who think they're enlightened, always talking about, well, we are the gods, you know, we are God. No. We are not gods. We are human. We are human. There's only one God, and well, one true God, but there's many gods, but we are not one of them. We are, masters of this world. We are gods of this planet, but we are not a god, because gods aren't mortal. They start mortal, they die. Some of them start mortal, they die, and then they become immortal. But if you're still living in a fleshly vessel, you are not a god. You just have power. from the I am presence that's inside of you. And that's one thing that I really, really have to say here. Um, a lot of people like to say, oh, you know, you're the God of your own creation. No, you're the master of your own reality. But there's only the God presence, the I am that's inside of you. And that's something that you really have to keep in mind and make sure that you live your life like with integrity, with respect, and with justice in mind, with the Tiras room showing up. Keep that in mind because that's the best way to honor yourself and to honor the sacred presence that's inside of you is to live your life with honesty, with integrity, and to make sure that your words are, I'm hearing be immaculate with your words, one of the four agreements. Making sure that you be immaculate with your words and have the actions to match. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you this personally. This is how I live my life. Like, I know that this whole thing about spirituality, a lot of people like really think it's fun and games. It's just something they can do to make a quick buck. Something that they can do like, oh, I'm helping out, ha 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 ha. Like, no, this is serious. This is meant to be a lifestyle, and this is meant to be the way that you live. This is deep. Because living your life this way is going to yield you huge reward and like fruits. And this is what the Yera rune is all about. The Yera rune is like the rune of the year. It's also the returns for like good actions and good karma. If you've been taking the time out to really make sure that you confront yourself and enlighten yourself, especially with doing the shadow work, you've been impeccable with your words and been a person of great integrity, a person of honor, and really making sure that you're not out here causing harm to people. It doesn't mean not protecting yourself, but just making sure that you're not going out of your way to like put people down or like hurt them or things of that matter. Then you're going to be reaping a huge reward, a huge benefit, and probably sometime before the end of this year or at the end of this year, there's going to be like something really big and really beautiful happening. Because I know in this, well, it's not the October yet, but in October we have a blue moon. So there's something really, really powerful about that month. There's something really, really powerful. Like after the October mark, there's just going to be like a really big shift. I think October is going to mark the end of like this spiritual year. Like, I don't know why I'm feeling that. It's just something that I'm channeling. October is going to mark the end of this spiritual year. And a lot of things, a lot of shifts are going to start happening to a lot of people. Now, for the next like row of runes I have algaes. I have Perthro, and I have Ansus. Now, with Algies, Perthro, and Ansus, Algies talks about being one, having the spiritual tools and being one with like a higher spirit, like maybe a spirit guide, spirit guardian. And again, this is like right under the Manas room. And what this is telling me is that by actually it goes by everything that I was just saying. I didn't even know I was already channeling the energy of this card with how we have the I am presence inside of us, and that by doing the shadow work and making sure that we communicate and meditate, we connect to that presence. Well, that's what the algaes room symbolizes. It's about like having the power to work with like with a higher spirit, a higher deity, and a higher guardian. And with the Ansus room coming out, which is like the word of God or the word of the higher spirit, or like having communion with it, this is like doubly reinforced. This is definitely letting me know that when I'm saying like this, what seems like insane or inane rambling is actually like really like true. Like what I'm saying is no BS. The algaes rune is all about like having the tools and taking like everything that you've been learning from like your lessons, like your spiritual knowledge, your spiritual tools, and actually making sure that you use it in the best way possible. With the Perthro rune, this is the rune of fate, of chance, and of happenstance. And with Perthro, like being here, like with the box of lots, I'm hearing that there's something that's meant to like want to happen to like some of us here. Maybe if you're watching this and you are a little bit more higher vibrational, a higher spirit, someone who lives their life in the spirit and live by those principles, there's going to be something that's really fated to happen for you. Um, something that's like faded. It's like a reward for all your good deeds and like the integrity that you displayed in your entire life. And what's funny was because I just watched a reading from Leo in the third house, and one of the piles that I picked had this really beautiful message of gratitude, and it was talking about how your guardian spirit, which will be the algae's rune here, the spirit of your guardian spirit, or your higher self, or like a higher being. Um, how about how they're so proud of you for all the good work that I've been putting in. Like, I'm taking that message and I'm internalizing it because it was my pile and my message, for all the good work that you've been putting in, and that they're proud of that, how your higher self and how a higher guardian is proud of me and stuff like that. But with this perthrow room, like, it's letting me know like something really, really favorable. Like, it doesn't even have to be really big. It just has to be something very fortuitous, something very lucky, because the perthrow is meant to be a box of lots. If you look at the rune, it's like an open box of lots. So it's like something really, really lucky is about to start happening for you, for those of you who live your life in the spirit. Um, and this is like the command. Like, this is like another, so I say and so it shall be, from from this higher spirit, this higher guardian, the I am presence inside of you. This is like this thing coming out and communicating. Um, like I said, if you really been like living your, and that it's like, and I keep hearing the thing, like, be honest with yourself. Like, really, really be honest. Like, are you like really living your life in the spirit, or are you just like someone who's just spiritual? You have the practices, but you live a relatively 3D lifestyle. But you keep this like stuff in the back to keep you grounded and centered. Like, no, do you live your life in spirit? Do you live your life in God? Do you surrender? Have you surrendered yourself and decided to live this way? For those of you who have and like have been like in direct communion, like the high priest, and which was funny because even before I started channeling messages, the first thing that what was coming to my mind was like, no, it was as I was setting up my ring light after I got done like my deep meditation. What I was hearing was like high priest, high priest, high priest. I was sitting here just like really just talking about what I would say if like I was ever brought into an interview about like my tarot card readings or something like that, just fantasizing. That's really thinking. And one of the things that I would tell people, because one of the biggest things that I feel like I'm going to hear is like, how are you gay? You claiming to be a priest of God. Don't he hate gay people? Isn't that a sin? No, it's not. The gay people thing was like meant for back in the day because they needed people to actually like procreate. It was necessary. It was a law that was necessary so that our species can survive. There's nothing wrong with that because there was gay people even back then, and nothing bad ever happened to them. They were just chased off their lands. Um, but yeah, for the most part of this, I was just like figuring like no, like if you live your life in God, if you really like give yourself over in humble supplication, it doesn't matter who you are because you come as you are. And Father, Source, the divine being is nothing but pure love. And pure love doesn't know hatred. It doesn't know condemnation. Like it's not like that. Like but that was just like I guess it was just something that I was just thinking about. But back to the Ansu's room. Communication, high priest, priestly like things. Like really making sure that if you are someone that's going through their shadow work, that's constantly confronting themselves, constantly making sure that they live a life that's pleasing to like their spirit, to their presence inside of them, just know that you are in direct communication. And this is also coming back to me to like say about the second coming, about this enlightened era. Like I really feel like spirit, Father, is his presence is becoming stronger and more well known in this world, whether we know it or not. That's why there's so much turmoil and strife. Like everything has to be brought down so that he can make his way in. And I remember getting this channel message like all the way back in December. Um, Should I go and run and grab my journal real quick? I will. Give me 1 second, fellas and ladies. Give me 1 second. Yeah. I have my journal here. Like I've been keeping notes and revelations in it for I guess almost a year now because this journal is like completely full. Yeah, almost a year because I started in January of 2021. Let me see. There was a message in here that I had to give. Ah, here it is. I wrote this at about, yeah, this was January 3rd. Um, yeah, the dawn, wait, okay. Well, first of all, I have that self-realization purifies the soul, which is something that I was just talking about here with the Mind Eyes room, about how connecting to yourself and doing like your shadow work brings you closer to this I am presence that's inside of you, allows you to become one with it here. The next thing I have is the dawn of the new age began December 21st, 2020, and the world has been preparing for that shift for months. We are entering the next stage of our lives as beings, and the end is around the corner. Another message that I also been channeling about the end of times. It's a very scary message. I don't really like giving that, but by the end of times, I really feel like it's like the end of like the age, like the end of like this established time, and it's a brand new time that's being made, and the way it's being prepared. I feel like for the next, what, how should I say? Maybe the next 5 years, something is going to be a big tearing down of the world order as we know it. Like I already feel it because I already had like a vision like very long time ago about America itself coming down. Like I really feel like America is on the brink of decline, is on the brink of destruction. In 2024, there's going to be a war. And I'm going to just throw that prophecy out there right now because this is one that I had since about 2017. That in 2024, there's going to be another world war. And it's going to be China and Russia colluding together and invading America because we're going to be weakened. And we already been seeing signs of that in politics with the Russia hacks, with Trump being like an important puppet of Russia, giving them secrets and stuff like that, weakening us. Like severely weakening and crippling us and getting us right and prepared for an invasion. Even though other people don't really see it that way, people refuse to see it that way, but we've already been invaded and we're secretly being invaded every single day. I wouldn't be surprised if, we start having like Russian spies come up or Chinese spies and things of that nature. And we've already caught Chinese spies in this country. So I know that prophecy, that vision that I had is going to come true. Um, we're entering the next stage of our lives as human beings, and the end is around the corner. Father will establish himself firmly in the kingdom of man this age. He is already preparing the ground for his arrival. The prophets are all moving, and the unlikely champions of the new age are on the rise. Like I said, there's going to be an influx of tarot readers. Like we see it now. And I wrote this all the way back in January, like the beginning of this year. Like this is like, this is like, hey, 2021 marks the year of the building of the official Church of Christ, and it will blow everyone's mind. LGBT persons and spiritualists will be the ones to hearken the coming of Father on this earth. They are his new prophets. Yeah. And I think that's all I really had to share from you guys. Like that's from like my journal, like I won't call it my diary. It's like my book of revelations. Whenever I meditate and I like really gain spiritual messages, I often write them down. And I write down as much as I can. Like I even wrote the thing about the chocolate of art in there because that happened fairly recently. But what I'm saying for you guys is true. Like this time is coming to an end. And it's really time to really just start asking yourselves, did I live a life that's pleasing to that presence that's inside of me? Am I living that life that's pleasing to me? Am I living my life with integrity? Am I being honest? Am I making sure that I do no harm? Because let's not forget, the Bible isn't the only holy text that talks about living your life in a matter of integrity, truth, and honesty. And that gives examples of people who do. We have the Mahabharata, the Ramayana, we have the Bible, the Torah, Tanakh, Um, what was the one in the middle? The Apocrypha. What other sacred text is there? But those are the only ones that I know. But if you take a look, like a upside looking down view at all religions, they all say the same thing, and they all have the same messages. They just express it through different characters and different ways and different emanations of the true source. Are you living your life in accordance to those things? And that's why it's so big, at least for someone like me who watches anime, who idealize heroes and stuff like that, that I try to really live my life in a way that's like modeled after them. People call it childish, but you are being called. You're being called to this world to live your life like as a child, to have childlike faith and childlike wonder, and approach your life through that mind and that guise. Like, why can't I be a hero? Why can't I be someone who always stands up for truth and for justice? You know? Why can't I be that person? Why can't I be the male Sailor Moon? Out here fighting to establish a brand new age into this world, into like where everyone could be happy and like have eternal life. Why can't I be that person? So you're being called to like really live your life from that sense of wonder and to really just pay attention to the signs and everything that's been happening all around you. There's about to be a really big shift and a really big ending. And one of the things from Revelation talks about, I believe it's something about an eagle, about how an eagle didn't really like get destroyed, to just change shaped. And what I got from that before was like how the Romans, like how America really models themselves like after Rome, whether we know it or not. So, and a Rome thing was like the eagle, and America's like symbol is also the eagle. So, I really feel like, and this is a prophecy of mine, that America is going to come crumbling down. Like, they're going to be invaded and they're going to be conquered, because America isn't the superpower that it always was. We're in crippling debt, not only to China, but Biden is over here pissing off Putin, and Trump was a Putin puppet. There's already been like some, I think, I haven't really investigated this yet, but I've heard that there was some truth about Hillary colluding with Russia. I'm not 120% sure on that. Please do not quote me. I do not know, but it's something that came into like my sphere of like, into my perception. But either way, that Russia-China collusion and like this prophecy of America coming down is something that hasn't left me for the many years since I predicted it. Because I also predicted Trump winning that election. And people called me crazy. They thought I was foolish. They thought that I didn't understand politics. But I told them, what you don't understand is the human heart. You don't understand the human condition. You don't understand the anger, the duplicity, the duplicative nature of the forces that truly run this world, that runs this earth. Because Father presides above it, but earth is ours. We already let it become overrun by the demons a long time ago by choosing to turn our backs on God and his teachings through many different religion and cultures. So there's something that you guys should like really, really keep in mind. I didn't know that this Sacred Sunday was going to be me giving prophecy or like talking about my prophecies and revelations, but I think that's a beautiful thing anyway. So yeah, there's that, and that's what I got from these rooms, just from the rooms that came out in the message that I channeled. So I don't know if it's going to continue or what's going to keep happening, but I'm going to continue moving on with this Sacred Sunday reading, because I brought out a bunch of cards, and I know there's something else that I want to say. So I'm going to pull the Soul's Journey card and see what comes out. Happiness. I think I need 3 of these. Relationships. What's this one? And blame with adversity. So, with happiness, being I am aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. I'm attracted to those who serve my highest good with relationships, and I accept responsibility for my well being. This is all about making sure that you, like I said, are you guys living the path that's right for you? Are you guys letting in the proper energies that like feed your soul, feed that I am presence inside of you? This is like really to make sure that you guys are really taking the time out to know that it all starts with you. Like I said, we are the masters of our reality. And if your reality is something that you don't like, just know that it's your fault. And take that responsibility for how your world looks right now and realize that, you have to like go through adversity. There's no hero, no person, no one ever who was ever great in life that made it to where they are without adversity, who just made it somewhere just like, oh, well, I'm here now, haha, I'm awesome. Like, no, 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 no. You need to realize that there's always going to be challenges, no matter how spiritually in tune you are. And I guess I have to share a little bit more about myself. Like, I've been getting so many messages about really good things coming to me, and I thought like it was all going to come like bing, bang, boom. But no, I have to go through like my trials, my tribulations, and my tests to make sure that I truly have been listening to my guidance that I've been getting from my meditations. That I truly am making sure that I always check in with spirit. And with this Perthrow card here, the guy walking on the tightrope, he's doing this by a sense of balance and by trust. He's not even looking down. He is trusting himself and trusting fate and trusting like the will, his divine guidance and the will of Father. And this is something that's like really speaking to me. Like if you're somewhere where you're not happy in your life, just know that it's all up to you and it's all your fault. And you need to figure out what you need to do, connect to that presence inside of you, do your shadow work, and figure out what it is that you have to do to reap your harvest and to reap your rewards. To make sure that you correct yourself and allow Father and Spirit to correct and discipline you. Because there was something about like those who fear his discipline. I can't remember the Bible verse. I wish I had those cards with me, but it goes something along the lines of like not fearing the discipline from the Most High, from Father, because you need that discipline in your life to help correct you and to put you down your proper path. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep that there. This has been a really jumbled, like, it's been really clear to me, but I can feel like even before like I even put this out, I feel like this reading is gonna mystify a lot of people. Like they're really not gonna understand what I'm saying here, but say it I must. You are responsible for your well-being. You are the master and the creator of your reality. And I just want you guys to know that we are in a brand new age of enlightenment and in spirit, and that a brand new church of the Christ, which is not like a physical building. It is people being unified under the teachings of love, integrity, happiness. All that stuff is like being like really brought into us and really brought into this world. And we need to make sure that we're with the times, because the time is shifting, the way is being paved, and you guys need to make sure that if out of everything that's happening, out of all these cataclysms that's happening in this world, because not only did I get a revelation about the end time, I also had a dream about it. And the only thing that's going to like carry you through and see you through is like faith, your connection with the Algi's room to the Most High here with the Ansus, and being able to like listen and obey and follow that presence that's inside of you with the Manas room, that collective like unconscious thing. Because that's the only way you're going to keep yourself protected through this period of adversity and reap the good rewards and the ripe fruit that's at the end. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me for this Sacred Sunday message. I don't know if it's going to resonate, but if you listen to it, thank you for listening. Make sure to leave a comment, your thoughts. Like I would love to have a discussion. Comment your thoughts, leave a like, share this message, and I thank you all for watching. Thank you.